$43 to $87 million a week going to the Taliban.
It made it a tax in Russia's southern region of Dagestan.
A lot of people focus on the humanitarian dollars. According to people I talk to, when the plane comes weekly,
the terror that was unleashed.
Depending on the weight of the plane, it has between
an explosion could be heard from inside the stadium.
43 and 87 million. If 40 million's humanitarian dollars, 47 million is given in pure cash to do counterterrorism operations. Obviously, the Taliban is not doing effective counterterrorism operations.
Sarah Adams is an award-winning targeting officer and global threat advisor, former CIA officer, counterterrorism analyst, and CIA targeter with extensive domestic and international experience. We have been giving money continuously to Iran for years. Is the money that the White House is sending to Iran, is that making its hands in the terrorist attacks?
Well, show me the dollar moving from the government to the terrorists. It's like, no, when you infuse a government with billions of dollars, it opens up the other cash reserves so they can better fund Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, etc.
It's just business, right? You can reallocate money.
Yeah, they have more money. And that's the part that people get lost on, right? Al-Qaeda has a multi-coordinated attack in the works that they're planning for the U.S. It was supposed to be for 2025. It sounds like they got their attackers here earlier, so it could happen at any time.
How many do you think potentially terrorists in the United States that made it through in the last 3 years?
I think 1,500 approximately.
They're here. What are we doing about this? What can we do about this if they're already here?
It's like the ultimate betrayal, and I think that's why it's not being talked about, right? Because if the veteran community really understood that we're paying for the families of the martyrs, like, you think they'd be all in their congresspeople's office being like, stop the money now, stop the money now.
We gave you something to do, a call to action, and you did not do it.
Our dollars are being proliferated to a number of terrorist groups. It's not just Al-Qaeda, it's not just AQIM, it's TTP, right? It's going to ISKP. 90% of our congresspeople are perfectly fine with us sending this money to the Taliban. That's a problem. Like, vote them out or make them do their job.
Courtesy of Uncle Sam, American-supplied armor, now riding under Taliban colors.
All these groups have grown, their capabilities have grown, their access to weapons have grown, and it's because Iran had billions of dollars from our government.
Representatives from the Taliban and China met in Kabul on Monday. Taliban hopes for cooperation from China.
China and Taliban, they actually had the relationship in 2010, back when I worked it. So China has always fostered this relationship with the Taliban, preparing for the day we leave, right?
Because they're thinking long term.
China will always try to reach a common goal, helping developing countries, while reaching China's own development achievements. Afghanistan is our neighbor, is our good brother.
What China likes to do is they like to do an influence, in a passive way, right? Sow some dissent, and China likes to do that. That's why they amplify, political things we argue about in this country. People think things go viral because Americans care. Well, no, like China or Russia are pulling the strings and making a lot of that go viral. We talk about aid, but there's also the World Food Program. Their food is actually what is the food served at all the Al-Qaeda's training camps. So the World Food Program is feeding the terrorists being trained. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, it's so insane to me. U.S. taxpayer dollars, we're paying for training, paying for the food to prepare an enemy for another attack on us. What could the audience do on a personal level? I mean, they don't work in the White House. What could they do on a personal level to prepare for something like this?
I think that's what we have to get our mind around. These terrorists are trained in ways that, yes, our soldiers seen, but everyday Americans don't have any concept of the capabilities and what they're willing to do. If you have a church, your kids' school, etc. Like, they need to all be prepared. We don't want to leave communities at a disadvantage. I do think people need to take more ownership. We had a lot of ownership of it after 9/11, and then it's kind of like fallen off the wayside. People are back to, oh, I don't want to get involved again, or it's almost like we have to shift back again. And remember, this is your community, right? If you let something happen to your community, it hurts everyone. It hurts the entire resiliency of your community, and that has lasting effects.